They called him the strongest man to ever rule the martial world. Then he vanished without a trace. 10 years later, he returned as something no one could have imagined. A cute live streamer whose first mission wasn't conquering the world, it was earning enough money to buy Dongpo pork. The strongest martial artist in the Murim had already reached the peak. As the legendary heavenly demon, Qianma Chi Yu Rong stood beneath the blazing sun, wondering if the martial world had always been this small. Every rival who had once shaken the continent had already fallen before him. Even the infamous Black Dragon King, ruler of the underworld, had never managed to land a single meaningful blow. The mysterious master of the Lost Soul Tower, a man feared across the land for his endless schemes, surrendered before their battle could even begin. There was no one left who could challenge him. For someone who possessed absolute power, victory had become painfully boring. Standing alone at the very top, all he could feel was loneliness. Just then, something strange distorted the sky behind him. A massive black vortex suddenly ripped through space, radiating an overwhelming force unlike anything he had ever encountered. Even the heavenly demon, who had never feared another opponent, instinctively turned around in shock. He demanded to know who dared challenge him and prepared to strike. The pressure pouring from the rift was unbelievable. For the first time in years, he felt genuine excitement. Whoever created this phenomenon had to be unimaginably powerful. Unfortunately, he never got the chance to find out. The mysterious vortex swallowed him whole before he could resist, erasing him from the martial world in an instant. 10 years passed. Instead of returning home, the strongest man in Murim found himself stranded on a bizarre island completely isolated from civilization. Sitting on top of the corpse of another gigantic monster, he reluctantly chewed on roasted beast meat for what felt like the 10,000th time. It tasted just as terrible as always. The island itself was unlike anywhere he had ever seen. Every season existed simultaneously. Spiritual herbs grew as commonly as weeds, and monstrous beasts wandered everywhere. No humans had ever appeared. Only one rule existed there: the law of the jungle. For an entire decade, he had ruled as the island's apex predator, slaughtering every creature that challenged him. Yet absolute strength meant very little when there was nobody left to talk to, and every meal tasted like burnt leather. More than anything, he missed his followers. He remembered the loyal 4 heavenly kings, his ever-arguing subordinates, and the companions who had spent years by his side. Even listening to their constant bickering sounded wonderful compared to spending 10 years alone. He had tried escaping countless times, but every attempt ended the same way. Beyond the endless blue sea lay nothing except a terrifying void, an ocean of empty darkness that swallowed everything. There was simply no path leading home. While wandering through the forest, a strange light suddenly caught his attention. Curious, he flew toward it and discovered a glowing orb hidden among the trees. The moment he touched it, the sphere turned crimson before splitting apart into countless fragments. Then something completely impossible appeared. A perfectly modern white building materialized out of thin air. Completely confused, he cautiously stepped inside. The interior was filled with furniture and strange devices unlike anything from the martial world. Curious as ever, he inspected the walls, knocked on them, and eventually sat down in an unbelievably comfortable chair. Then he looked up. An entire wall was covered with mysterious black screens. Treating them like unfamiliar spiritual artifacts, he pressed one of the buttons. The screen suddenly lit up. Words written in the Central Plains language appeared before him, followed by a welcome message for a platform called Quitch. The martial arts master had absolutely no idea what he was looking at. Soon, videos began appearing across the screen. One stream showed a blonde man with unusual eyes announcing a challenge involving 50,000 cookies, while thousands of viewers flooded the chat. Moments later, a martial artist rushed toward him. The outcome was almost embarrassing. The streamer casually snapped his fingers and launched a gigantic fireball that instantly incinerated the attacker. Meanwhile, the viewers mocked the defeated martial artist without mercy. Watching everything unfold, the heavenly demon frowned. The flames clearly weren't generated through martial arts or internal energy. They were completely different from any cultivation technique he had ever witnessed. Unable to contain his curiosity, he shouted directly at the screen, demanding answers. Naturally, the monitor ignored him and switched to another video. This time, a young woman was about to eat a plate of freshly cooked Dongpo pork. The moment he saw real food for the first time in 10 years, his eyes nearly burst out of their sockets. That had once been his favorite dish. Meanwhile, he had spent an entire decade surviving on disgusting monster meat, his mouth instantly filled with saliva. He desperately yelled at the screen, asking the girl to share some with him before wildly smashing buttons on the strange machine, hoping there was some way to communicate. Instead, another video began. A documentary host introduced himself before explaining the great cataclysm that had occurred 10 years earlier. According to him, 4 completely different worlds had merged together. The first was the world of magic. The second was an advanced cyberpunk civilization. The third was the martial world where martial artists cultivated internal energy. And finally, Earth's modern world, protected by hunters. When those dimensions collided, monstrous creatures flooded through countless dimensional rifts, nearly driving humanity to extinction before the surviving civilizations joined forces. The host also introduced one of the greatest inventions born from that merger: food warp. By combining magic with advanced technology, people could instantly teleport food and ordinary objects across vast distances. Living creatures still couldn't be transported safely, but everyday deliveries had become effortless. The documentary wasn't what captured the heavenly demon's attention. The steaming hot cup of coffee and fresh food appearing instantly in front of the host did. At that moment, everything finally clicked. If people could order food through this strange broadcasting platform, then perhaps this mysterious building wasn't just a shelter. It was his ticket back to civilization. Without wasting another second, he decided to become a streamer himself. Using the equipment inside the room, he created his very first broadcast. Unfortunately, the moment he saw himself on camera, reality hit hard. After spending 10 years alone on a monster-infested island, his hair looked like an abandoned bird's nest, his beard had grown wildly, and his clothes were little more than torn rags. He looked less like the legendary heavenly demon, and more like someone who had just escaped from a cave. His first viewer entered the stream, screamed in surprise after seeing his appearance, and immediately left. A second viewer stayed just long enough to ask whether he really was the heavenly demon. Trying to preserve his dignity, the martial arts master proudly struck his most heroic pose and confidently introduced himself. The viewer laughed, then left without another word. Sitting alone in front of the monitor, he finally understood what had happened. 10 years had passed since he disappeared. The 4 worlds had merged together. No one remembered the heavenly demon anymore. But instead of becoming discouraged, he smiled. If the world had forgotten him, then he would simply make the entire world remember. While studying the platform, he noticed something interesting. Many successful streamers entertained viewers through battles or casual conversations. But the biggest channels all had one thing in common: beautiful young women dominated the rankings. He glanced at his reflection again. Yeah, an old man with tangled hair wasn't exactly going viral. If he wanted viewers, drastic measures were necessary. Without hesitation, he hunted down another powerful beast with a single kick and extracted the massive spirit stone hidden near its heart. That crystal contained an enormous amount of spiritual energy. Normally, a rejuvenation technique could only restore someone's youth, but by consuming countless high-grade spirit stones, he believed he could completely reshape his body into its absolute peak. Swallowing the precious crystals one after another, he declared that Quitch would soon witness the true heavenly demon. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the world, a bored viewer named NoobFinder113 searched the platform for new streamers to support. His favorite hobby was discovering cute beginners and showering them with donations. Eventually, he stumbled across a channel called Heavenly Demon. His eyes lit up immediately. A cheerful young girl greeted him with an adorable smile, thanked him for his donation with a cute little meow, and completely stole his heart within seconds. The poor guy instantly fell for the act, completely unaware that behind the adorable appearance was someone simply taking advantage of viewers by using the Heavenly Demon's famous title to attract donations. The Heavenly Demon had pulled off an absolutely ridiculous move. By completely rebuilding his body through rejuvenation, he transformed himself into a beautiful young woman, instantly attracting curious viewers from across Quitch. One after another, usernames flooded into the chat, and the once deserted stream suddenly came to life. As everyone admired the mysterious newcomer, the heavenly demon casually explained that rejuvenation was a martial arts technique that allowed someone who had reached enlightenment to return to their youthful prime. Normally, it only restored one's age, but because he had postponed the process for years, an enormous amount of internal energy had accumulated inside his body. After consuming countless spirit stones, he was able to reshape not only his appearance, but also his physique, facial features, and even his voice. In other words, he had accidentally created the perfect body for live streaming. The chat immediately began asking questions. When someone asked his age, he calmly answered that he was already 70 years old. Nobody believed him. The disbelief only made the viewers even more entertained. Watching everyone react to his every word, the martial arts master realized all the time he had spent studying broadcasts and message boards had not been wasted. Then, the first major donation appeared. A viewer sent 10,000 cookies while asking for a cute reaction. Without the slightest hesitation, the former ruler of Murim responded with an adorable little meow. The chat completely lost it. The contrast between his dignified speech and his ridiculously cute appearance was simply too powerful. Even the heavenly demon found himself enjoying the interaction. For 10 long years, the only sounds he had heard were the roars of monsters trying to kill him. Simply talking to real people again felt strangely comforting. He even struck another cute pose, sending the viewers into another frenzy. Before long, the donations reached 100,000 cookies. Checking his statistics, he saw that his very first stream had already reached 31 concurrent viewers and 11 followers. It wasn't a huge audience by Twitch standards, but for a complete beginner, it was a fantastic start. Looking at his beautiful new appearance, he reluctantly admitted the obvious. Without this body, nobody would have clicked on his stream. Slamming the desk with determination, he announced that the next segment would be a mukbang. The chat immediately asked what he planned to eat. Without hesitation, he answered with Dongpo pork. Some viewers laughed, saying his taste was like an old man's, while others suggested trendy snacks instead. He ignored every recommendation. After spending 10 years surviving on monster meat, nothing sounded better than his favorite dish. With trembling fingers, he placed the order through Food Warp. Only moments later, a notification announced that the delivery had arrived. When the steaming plate appeared before him, he could barely contain himself. The glossy sauce, the rich aroma, the perfectly cooked layers of pork. It looked exactly as he remembered. Unable to wait any longer, he carefully picked up a piece and took his first bite. The flavor instantly overwhelmed him. For the first time in an entire decade, he was eating real food. Memories of his old world flooded back all at once, and before he realized it, tears were streaming down his face. The chat watched in stunned silence as the legendary martial artist cried over a plate of pork. Unable to stop himself, he devoured every bite as though someone might steal it away. He even choked from eating too quickly while desperately shoveling more into his mouth. Viewers couldn't believe what they were seeing. Some joked that the food couldn't possibly be that delicious. Others admitted they suddenly wanted to order Dongpo pork themselves. Embarrassed, he apologized for losing control and explained that he simply hadn't tasted proper food in 10 years. The chat immediately comforted him, and another generous donation arrived, encouraging him to buy himself a drink as well. The next day, he confidently started another broadcast. This time, his stream was titled Heavenly Demon's Quiche Conquest Day 2. As soon as he went live, returning viewers immediately noticed his swollen eyes from yesterday's emotional eating stream. New viewers continued pouring in as well. To his surprise, the viewer count climbed faster than ever before. Confused, he watched the numbers nearly double within seconds. The chat laughed at his bewildered expression before someone finally explained what had happened. A popular clip channel had uploaded the moment he burst into tears while eating Dongpo pork. The clip had gone viral. That single emotional moment had introduced countless new viewers to his channel. The heavenly demon nodded proudly. So that counted as good broadcasting. A delivery soon arrived containing new equipment he had purchased using yesterday's donations. Instead of wasting his earnings, he reinvested everything into improving the stream. The viewers loved seeing how serious he was. When they asked what today's content would be, he revealed his next challenge. Today, he would play the most popular game on Twitch, Real Fight 99. During his time studying broadcasts, he had noticed that almost every major creator played this virtual reality fighting game. Whether they were magicians, hunters, martial artists, or cybernetic soldiers, everyone eventually ended up in Real Fight 99. Naturally, he decided to experience it himself. The chat quickly noticed something interesting. His account showed exactly 0 hours of playtime. When asked if he had ever played before, he calmly admitted this would be his very first game. The viewers immediately started celebrating. Watching a complete beginner stumble through VR was always entertaining. Putting on the headset, the heavenly demon entered the virtual world. The moment he opened his eyes, he froze. Everything looked unbelievably real. If the floating chat window hadn't remained in front of him, he would have believed he had been transported into another dimension all over again. Even the viewers couldn't stop laughing at his genuine amazement. Before entering the game, the system announced that it would measure his combat power. Most viewers expected a normal result. An average adult usually scored around 10. Some guessed he might reach 5. Instead, the system displayed 3 question marks. The entire chat fell silent. Nobody had ever seen a combat power displayed like that. Confused, the heavenly demon asked what the symbols meant. The viewers explained that combat power should always be shown as a numerical value between 1 and 100. Question marks simply didn't exist. At first, he shrugged it off. If the game couldn't measure him, what difference did it make? The chat immediately corrected him. Combat power directly affected game difficulty. A higher rating meant facing stronger enemies and harsher challenges. Realizing that even the game itself couldn't evaluate his strength, the martial arts master finally understood that this mysterious result might actually matter. Wanting more information, he asked whether anyone knew how Twitch measured combat power. To everyone's frustration, nobody knew. Not even the experts. Someone linked another educational video from the documentary creator Snowwagon. The host explained that after the Great Cataclysm, powerful individuals from every world constantly fought each other, causing enormous destruction across civilization. To prevent endless wars, Twitch Corporation introduced virtual reality, creating a neutral battlefield where people from every world could compete safely. Their combat power system supposedly converted every ability into numbers, whether it came from magic, martial arts, mana, or technology. The only problem was, nobody understood how it actually worked. Only Twitch itself knew the truth. After listening to the explanation, the heavenly demon sighed. So even this expert didn't know anything useful. The chat jokingly summarized the entire lecture in one sentence. Twitch was suspicious. Satisfied enough, he finally launched the game. His avatar appeared before a massive gate standing in an empty field. The scenery reminded him of the old demon realm, bringing back a brief sense of nostalgia. The system offered a tutorial. He declined immediately. After watching countless streams, he believed he already understood everything. The viewers admired his confidence. That confidence only grew stronger when someone asked whether he had much combat experience. With a calm smile, the heavenly demon answered that he had no equal. The chat exploded with laughter. This complete beginner hadn't even played the game for 5 minutes and was already talking like the final boss. Completely ignoring everyone's warnings, he stretched his body with a few warm-up movements. The sharp sounds of his footwork and punches instantly caught the viewer's attention. People who initially thought he was all talk suddenly noticed something unusual. His movements looked incredibly refined. Some even wondered whether he truly was an experienced martial artist. Before anyone could investigate further, a challenge request suddenly appeared. A notorious player had sent him a duel. The chat immediately begged him not to accept. The challenger was an experienced cyberpunk gunslinger who regularly bullied new players for entertainment. But instead of backing down, the heavenly demon calmly accepted. He considered this the perfect opportunity to understand how this strange world fought. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1, fight! The cyberpunk player instantly drew his pistol and fired. The viewers had already accepted defeat. Against firearms, beginners stood absolutely no chance. Then, the impossible happened. The heavenly demon casually raised 2 fingers and caught the bullet in midair. He calmly inspected the tiny piece of metal before dropping it onto the ground. So this is what they call a bullet. A call in J1. The challenger stood frozen in disbelief. The chat completely exploded. Question marks flooded every corner of the screen. Nobody could process what they had just witnessed. As dark demonic energy slowly began swirling around him, the heavenly demon looked at his terrified opponent with complete composure. Then, with a faint smile, he spoke. "Now, it is my turn." Around the same time, the educational creator Snowwagon released another video discussing the current state of martial arts. According to him, everything had changed after the Great Cataclysm. In today's world, a gun was all most people needed. Learning martial arts required years of relentless training, while anyone could pick up a firearm and become dangerous overnight. Faced with that choice, very few people were willing to dedicate themselves to the slow and painful path of cultivation. As a result, martial arts were steadily disappearing. But there was one major problem. Guns were excellent at killing people. Yet they were far less effective against demonic beasts, unless equipped with expensive specialized ammunition. Humanity desperately needed warriors capable of fighting monsters, but convenience had driven more and more people away from becoming martial artists, knights, hunters, or mages. Listening to the explanation, the heavenly demon silently reflected on the modern world. Weapons like guns made ordinary people dependent on shortcuts instead of personal strength. To him, they represented everything martial arts stood against. Back inside the duel, the terrified gunslinger couldn't even hold on to his weapon anymore. The pressure radiating from the heavenly demon was overwhelming. He had only taken a single step forward, yet his opponent instinctively dropped his gun and began trembling uncontrollably. Even the heavenly demon looked confused. Was this really all it took? Compared to the disciples of the heavenly demon cult, this man possessed no internal energy, no discipline, and no fighting spirit. He relied entirely on a weapon. To the martial arts master, he looked unbelievably weak. The livestream chat completely exploded. Nobody understood why the challenger had suddenly collapsed in fear. Some viewers wondered whether the player had actually wet himself. Others couldn't believe someone had been defeated without taking a single hit. The heavenly demon simply concluded that modern fighters had become far too dependent on guns. Just then, another donation arrived. Scout 13 asked for permission to upload the duel as a highlight clip. Switching back into streamer mode, the heavenly demon flashed another adorable pose and thanked the viewer with his signature heavenly demon meow. The contrast between his terrifying combat ability and his unbelievably cute behavior continued to leave the audience completely confused. Soon afterward, the duel clip was uploaded. The title was simple: "She really caught a bullet." The video spread across the community like wildfire. People replayed the footage frame by frame, convinced it had to be edited. Others argued that no amount of special effects could fake what they were seeing. Even experienced martial artists admitted they couldn't perform such a feat. Some jokingly suggested the streamer must be an ancient martial arts master who had undergone rejuvenation. Meanwhile, one particular viewer stared at the clip in complete disbelief. His username was "All Hail the Heavenly Demon." Unlike everyone else, he wasn't impressed by the bullet catch. He was furious about something else. Someone was using the title Heavenly Demon. Curious viewers asked whether he could perform the same feat. Confidently, he claimed it would be easy. Then he asked an important question. Who was this girl's master? What was her martial arts title? When someone explained that Heavenly Demon was simply her username, the masked man's expression instantly darkened. To him, the title belonged to only one person: the legendary leader of the Heavenly Demon cult. No one else had the right to use it. The chat burst into laughter as they watched him completely lose his composure. Apparently, this wasn't unusual. He had become famous across the martial arts community for aggressively appearing whenever anyone mentioned the Heavenly Demon. Inside his private fan group, messages flooded in non-stop. The cult leader is alive. Other members could only sigh. No matter how many years passed, he refused to believe the Heavenly Demon had died during the Great Cataclysm. The following day, the Heavenly Demon began another broadcast. His channel continued growing at an incredible pace. Before he even started the stream, the viewer count had already surpassed 200, far beyond yesterday's peak. Seeing the numbers climb higher and higher, he couldn't hide his satisfaction. This strange world of live streaming was surprisingly entertaining. Scout 13 donated once again, earning another adorable thank you from the streamer. The interaction reminded the heavenly demon of one of his loyal subordinates from the past, making him quietly wonder whether any of his old followers had survived the catastrophe. His moment of nostalgia didn't last long. The masked viewer suddenly stormed into the chat again, angrily demanding that the streamer stop using the title Heavenly Demon. Completely confused, the Heavenly Demon asked what the man's problem was. The viewers quickly explained that he was a notorious troll who appeared every time someone mentioned the Heavenly Demon. Without hesitation, the Heavenly Demon promoted Scout 13 to moderator. Seconds later, the troublemaker was timed out. The chat erupted with laughter, praising the new moderator's lightning-fast reaction. Returning to the stream, the Heavenly Demon explained that today's broadcast would be different. He wanted to show everyone the place where he had spent the last 10 years. As he wandered deeper into the forest, viewers immediately noticed something unbelievable. Rare medicinal herbs covered the ground. Wild ginseng, blood chrysanthemums, mandrakes. Countless priceless treasures grew casually along the roadside like ordinary weeds. The chat couldn't believe what they were seeing. Some viewers begged him to pick the herbs and sell them. Others wondered what kind of impossible place he was living in. The Heavenly Demon smiled. So he hadn't been imagining it. Even people from this world recognized how absurd this island really was. Curious, he asked whether anyone in the chat remembered the Heavenly Demon from the old martial world. The viewers immediately began sharing exaggerated rumors. Some claimed the Heavenly Demon had slaughtered the Martial Alliance leader with a single strike. Others insisted he had horns growing from his head. Someone even claimed he drank blood instead of water. Listening quietly, the real Heavenly Demon couldn't help correcting them in his own mind. He didn't have horns. He definitely didn't drink blood either. Eventually, someone commented that the legendary Heavenly Demon had probably died during the Great Cataclysm. The streamer suddenly stopped walking. Standing with his hands behind his back, he calmly looked toward the camera. Then he quietly spoke. "I didn't die." The chat immediately asked how he could possibly know that. With complete sincerity, he revealed the truth. "Because I am Chianma Chiyu Rung, the Heavenly Demon." The viewers burst into laughter. Everyone assumed it was another joke. After all, nobody believed the terrifying ruler of the Heavenly Demon cult could possibly be a cute young streamer saying "meow" after every donation. Satisfied with their reaction, the Heavenly Demon searched the internet for information about his old sect. Most records claim the Heavenly Demon cult had been completely destroyed during the Great Cataclysm. Very little information remained. If his followers were still alive, they had disappeared without leaving any trace. Shaking off those thoughts, he continued climbing until he reached the highest point on the island. The breathtaking view instantly stunned the audience. A gigantic abyss stretched endlessly across the land. Red lightning crackled through the sky, while enormous flying demonic beasts circled overhead. The viewers couldn't believe anyone could survive in such an environment. The Heavenly Demon calmly explained that he had lived there alone for 10 years. He had hoped someone watching might recognize the location. Unfortunately, nobody knew where it was. Just as he was about to give up, one viewer hesitated before asking a shocking question. "Wait, isn't this the Demon Realm?" That single comment sent the stream's popularity soaring. Viewer numbers exploded. Followers continued climbing. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, the cyberpunk player humiliated during yesterday's duel knelt before his organization's leader. The gang boss mocked him mercilessly for being defeated by what appeared to be a teenage girl. Although one subordinate pointed out that the gunslinger had started the fight himself, the boss didn't care. Family came first. Anyone who humiliated one of his people would have to pay. When he heard the name of the streamer responsible, Heavenly Demon, his expression immediately changed. That title carried far too much history to be used carelessly. Elsewhere, the masked fanatic known as All Hail the Heavenly Demon sat alone in front of his screen, obsessively repeating the same words over and over. The cult leader is alive. The thought refused to leave his mind. To him, anyone who dared use that sacred title was committing an unforgivable crime. Without realizing it, the Heavenly Demon had attracted the attention of two very dangerous enemies. One wanted revenge for his subordinate's humiliation. The other wanted to protect the legacy of the Heavenly Demon at any cost. Neither of them intended to let this mysterious streamer continue using that name. He watched another educational broadcast from Snowwagon, who this time discussed one of the greatest mysteries to emerge after the Great Cataclysm. According to Snowwagon, the Demon Realm was an unexplored land discovered shortly before the Rift War began. The first known survivor to enter it was a mage named Min, who accidentally leaped into a dimensional rift while fleeing from a demonic beast. Instead of dying, she arrived somewhere completely unimaginable. The land was overflowing with priceless medicinal herbs, rare fruits, and powerful spiritual plants. Every season existed simultaneously, creating a paradise unlike anything recorded in history. Unfortunately, paradise came with a deadly price. The island was crawling with demonic beasts classified as at least danger level 3. At one point, she even encountered a dragon. Believing death was inevitable, she desperately searched for an escape until another rift suddenly opened, allowing her to return alive. The evidence she brought back changed everything. Researchers examined the soil covering her clothes and discovered its mana concentration was more than 30 times higher than Earth's. Combined with the rare herbs she had carried home, there was finally undeniable proof that another world truly existed. Even so, debate never stopped. Some scholars believed the demon realm had formed because of the unstable dimensions created during the Great Cataclysm, while skeptics insisted the entire story was impossible. After the broadcast ended, the heavenly demon quietly considered everything he had learned. Whether this island truly was the demon realm or not, one fact mattered more than anything else. Someone had entered this place, and someone had escaped. For the first time in 10 years, he finally had hope that leaving the island might actually be possible. Determined to search for more clues, he started another live stream. The title was as chaotic as ever, promising an outdoor exploration, another Dongpo pork mukbang, and more real fight content all in a single broadcast. The viewers immediately recognized his priorities. Before doing anything else, he ordered another plate of Dongpo pork. This time, however, it wasn't the ordinary version. The meal cost 150,000 cookies, 50,000 more than the one that had made him cry on his very first stream. If it was more expensive, then surely it had to taste even better. While waiting, he browsed the menu and nearly lost his composure after discovering that premium restaurants sold Dongpo pork for an unbelievable 1 million cookies. Even the heavenly demon couldn't help imagining how incredible that dish must taste. He silently vowed that one day he would become successful enough to eat it. The food finally arrived. One bite was all it took. His eyes lit up instantly. The viewers laughed as the normally composed martial arts master once again became completely absorbed in his favorite meal. Watching him eat with genuine happiness had somehow become one of the channel's biggest attractions. Someone reminded him to slow down because nobody was going to steal his food. The heavenly demon smiled bitterly. Part of him almost wished someone would. After all, he'd spent 10 years eating every meal alone. Just then, 2 private messages suddenly appeared on his screen. Both came from the same person. All hail the heavenly demon. The self-proclaimed cult fanatic once again demanded that the streamer stop using the title, Heavenly Demon. This time, however, he proposed a wager. If the streamer lost a duel, he would have to change his username forever. If he won, the fanatic promised to donate an astonishing 10 million cookies. Even the heavenly demon had to admit that was an absurd amount of money. The second message was even stranger. Another group calling itself the Assassination Squad accused him of humiliating one of their members and promised revenge. Blood for blood. An eye for an eye. Completely puzzled, the heavenly demon asked his viewers whether they knew anything about the organization. The chat immediately connected the dots. Apparently, the cyberpunk player who had embarrassed himself after having his bullet caught had reported everything to his guild, instead of feeling worried. The heavenly demon grinned. Unexpected drama was perfect livestream content. Without wasting another moment, he switched over to Real Fight 99. After several practice matches played off-stream, his record now stood at 4 victories and 0 defeats. He remained unranked, but only because he hadn't completed enough placement matches. Personally, he found every opponent so far painfully disappointing. Most of them relied entirely on firearms. The viewers explained that low-ranked players usually chose guns because they were the cheapest option. Higher ranks, however, were completely different. Veterans invested enormous fortunes into cybernetic enhancements, replacing body parts with advanced technology. The Heavenly Demon remained skeptical. If they were truly stronger, he would gladly welcome the challenge. He had already researched the ranking system. As far as he was concerned, there was only one goal worth pursuing: the very top. The chat laughed at his confidence, but he remained completely serious. For someone who had already conquered the martial world once before, why would he settle for anything less? Before long, another duel request arrived. His opponent entered the arena carrying an enormous multi-barreled machine gun. Unlike the previous gunslinger, she proudly declared that this weapon fired 10 rounds every second. The countdown ended. A storm of bullets instantly filled the battlefield. The viewers expected even the Heavenly Demon to struggle this time. Instead, he calmly raised one hand. Using nothing more than precise control of his internal energy, he redirected every single bullet back toward its owner. The machine gunner was shredded by her own attack before she could even react. Victory. The livestream chat exploded. Outside the game, the defeated player ripped off her headset in complete disbelief. She refused to believe someone could redirect bullets with pure martial arts. Unable to accept reality, she convinced herself that the streamer must have been using some priceless artifact instead. One by one, more challengers stepped forward. A dual pistol user. Defeated. Another confident veteran claiming he'd be different. Defeated. More duel requests poured in from every direction. Every single battle ended exactly the same way. Whether they used pistols, rifles, or overwhelming firepower, none of them could even touch the Heavenly Demon. The victories piled up effortlessly. The viewers could barely keep up. People who had mocked him only days earlier were now calling him the hope of every remaining martial artist. Meanwhile, others couldn't resist making fun of the assassination squad, whose members continued getting humiliated one after another. Reading the chat, the Heavenly Demon quietly muttered that his viewers had become surprisingly talented at bullying people online. Elsewhere, inside the assassination squad's headquarters, the defeated members begged their leader for another chance. The guildmaster refused. Their reputation had already suffered enough embarrassment. There would be no more sending underlings. If they wanted to restore the organization's honor, he would handle the mysterious streamer himself. With murder determination in his eyes, the assassination squad's vice leader put on his VR headset and prepared to enter the battlefield personally. Before the next match began, the assassination squad's vice leader couldn't shake the feeling that this mysterious streamer was hiding something. Maybe it was an incredibly rare artifact, maybe some unknown superpower, or perhaps advanced cybernetic enhancements. Whatever the truth was, he knew one thing for certain. If he underestimated the Heavenly Demon, he would lose. Meanwhile, the system officially promoted the Heavenly Demon from iron to bronze after reaching an undefeated record of 9 victories. Unable to hide his excitement, he proudly announced his promotion to the stream. The chat immediately erupted with congratulations. Donations poured in, with viewers pointing out that several of his previous opponents had actually been silver-ranked players. Others encouraged him to keep climbing, while Scout 13 received another cheerful, Heavenly Demon meow for another donation. It was becoming his signature greeting. Moments later, a gold-ranked player issued a challenge. The viewers immediately explained what that meant. Using martial arts terminology, gold rank was roughly equivalent to a late second-rate or early first-rate martial artist. It wasn't just another beginner anymore. Even the system warned about the enormous gap in rank. Winning could allow him to skip straight to silver, but everyone expected the fight to be far more difficult than anything he'd experienced so far. The Heavenly Demon simply accepted. After all, he had never turned down a challenge in his life. When the opponent appeared, however, everyone realized something was different. This wasn't the player who had sent the invitation. Instead, a man introduced himself as Pang Diok Jo, vice leader of the assassination squad. The Heavenly Demon studied him for a moment before casually mentioning the Peng clan. His opponent froze. He immediately asked how someone so young could possibly know that name. The Heavenly Demon smiled. Of course he knew it. He had personally known the clan's former patriarch, Peng Ho Yan. The moment that name left his mouth, Peng's expression completely changed. The viewers quickly explained that Peng Ho-yan had died heroically during the Great Cataclysm while protecting his people from demonic beasts. Without realizing it, the heavenly demon had spoken about someone considered a legendary hero. To him, however, Peng Ho-yan wasn't some distant historical figure. He was an old acquaintance. Calmly, the heavenly demon remarked that the old patriarch had always been cheerful. If he truly died protecting his clan, then it was a worthy end. Peng exploded with rage. He accused the streamer of mocking his clan and disrespecting its greatest hero. The viewers immediately recognized the vice leader. His reputation was terrible. Despite surviving the destruction of the Peng clan, he had become infamous for bullying the weak and boasting about attacking women, children, and the elderly just to stay alive. Even the chat couldn't stand him. The heavenly demon looked genuinely confused. Was he really proud of that? One viewer explained that the man was so notorious, people jokingly called his martial art the immoral path, instead of the overbearing path. Peng ignored the insults. He promised to make the heavenly demon regret humiliating the assassination squad. The heavenly demon simply quoted an old saying from Murim, "Always be wary of the elderly, women, and children." Then he smiled. "That means I qualify for all three." The countdown ended. The battle began. Peng immediately unleashed one of the Peng clan's signature movement techniques, launching himself forward with incredible speed before raising his saber overhead. His white tiger soul, severing saber descended with overwhelming force. The heavenly demon never moved. At least, that's what everyone thought. In the next instant, he disappeared. Before Peng even understood what had happened, the heavenly demon had already appeared behind him. A metallic clash echoed through the arena. Peng's eyes widened. The technique that had just countered his attack belonged to the Peng clan. Even more shocking, the heavenly demon had executed it perfectly while completely empty-handed. Before Peng could react, an explosive palm strike pierced straight through his body. The vice leader staggered backward in disbelief. How could someone outside the clan know the primordial lightning palm? The heavenly demon calmly answered that his saber had trembled. To tremble meant it was still alive. Just as flowers bloomed while trembling in the wind, a swordsman should never fear that feeling. Peng refused to believe a word. Yet before disconnecting from the match, the heavenly demon quietly spoke again. "Peng Ho-yan's death wasn't your fault." For a brief moment, the vice leader froze. It was as though he could almost see the old patriarch standing behind the mysterious streamer. But he quickly rejected the thought, dismissing it as nonsense before logging out. The match ended. Victory. The heavenly demon reached 10 consecutive wins without a single defeat. His rank immediately advanced to silver. The chat exploded with excitement. Donations flooded in from every direction. Some viewers couldn't believe he had reached silver after only a handful of matches. The heavenly demon thanked everyone with another cheerful, heavenly demon meow. Outwardly, he remained humble. Privately, he was already calculating how much closer he had moved toward buying the legendary 1 million cookie Dongpo pork. Then, a new challenge request appeared. The entire chat fell silent. Grandmaster, that was the opponent's rank. More shocking than the rank itself was the username, "All Hail the Heavenly Demon." The same obsessive viewer who had spent days demanding that he change his name had finally appeared in person. The heavenly demon quietly asked how strong a Grandmaster actually was. The viewers explained that Grandmaster stood several ranks above gold. Some even compared it to the level of a swordmaster or a peak stage martial artist. For the first time since starting the game, he was about to face someone truly powerful. Reading the familiar username again, the heavenly demon fell into deep thought. The messages had always sounded hostile, but something about them felt strangely familiar. Someone who truly hated the heavenly demon wouldn't worship that title so fanatically. Could this actually be one of his old followers? Perhaps one of the 4 heavenly kings, or maybe even one of his left or right messengers. There was only one way to find out. Ignoring the desperate protests filling the chat, he accepted the challenge immediately. The battlefield changed. A dark arena appeared beneath a full moon, surrounded by an eerie silence. Even the viewers could feel that this opponent was completely different from everyone who had come before. Standing calmly with his hands behind his back, the heavenly demon looked toward the figure emerging from the darkness. "So, you're all hail, the heavenly demon." The mysterious challenger slowly raised his head. His voice echoed across the moonlit battlefield. "At last, we finally meet. I'll give you this much. You didn't run away." The voice. It sounded strange. Neither completely male nor female, as though someone was deliberately disguising it. A voice could be altered through martial arts, artifacts, or various techniques, but habits and movements were far more difficult to hide. Once they exchanged blows, the heavenly demon was certain he would discover the person's true identity. The masked warrior reminded him of their wager. If he lost, the streamer would abandon the title Heavenly Demon. The heavenly demon calmly reminded him of the other half of the deal. 10 million cookies. The masked figure scoffed. He had absolutely no intention of losing. Noticing his opponent carried no weapon, the heavenly demon casually asked where it was. The answer came without hesitation. "My hands are more than enough." The countdown reached 0. The Grandmaster vanished like a gust of wind. Even the viewers struggled to follow his movements. But the heavenly demon wasn't watching the speed. He was watching the footwork. His eyes widened. That movement, it was impossible. Without thinking, he called out a single name. Chill Bok. The effect was immediate. The Grand Master completely lost his balance, stumbled forward, and crashed onto the ground. The livestream chat exploded. Nobody understood what had just happened. How had a single name completely shattered the composure of someone ranked Grand Master? The masked warrior quickly scrambled back to his feet before demanding to know who the streamer really was. The heavenly demon simply answered with the truth. "I am the heavenly demon." His opponent immediately denied everything. He insisted he wasn't this so-called Chill Bok. The heavenly demon smiled. There was no point denying it. That unique sliding footwork across the ground was unmistakable. Years ago, he had personally refined and corrected that movement technique. Nobody else could have taught it. His thoughts drifted back to the past. Chill Bok had once been born with a body afflicted by extreme yin energy. Everyone believed the child would die before reaching the age of 20. Against all expectations, Chill Bok survived. Not only that, but eventually became one of the heavenly demon's closest followers, more than a subordinate, more like a younger sibling. Looking at the trembling figure before him, the heavenly demon quietly spoke. "So, you really survived." The Grand Master continued denying everything, but the confidence in the voice had completely disappeared. Instead, pain slowly replaced it. The memories he had buried for over 10 years suddenly came flooding back. The Great Cataclysm. The night the heavenly demon cult was destroyed. The sky itself had split apart. Countless demonic beasts descended upon the headquarters without warning. Cult members desperately fought to protect the main hall, while others screamed for the heavenly demon to return. Everywhere, there was blood, fire, chaos. People died one after another while desperately waiting for their leader. Then someone shouted the words that would haunt Chill Bok for the next decade. "The cult leader abandoned us." That single sentence became an inescapable nightmare. Even after surviving, Chill Bok could never free himself from those words. The guilt became an inner demon that tormented him every single day. Only recently had a tiny spark of hope appeared. Rumors had begun spreading. The cult leader is alive. Those whispers were the only reason Chill Bok had continued searching. Back in the present, the heavenly demon noticed something was terribly wrong. He wasn't looking at an enemy. He was looking at someone suffering. With genuine concern, he quietly asked, "Chill Bok, are you hurt? You don't look well." Those simple words shattered the final thread holding Chill Bok together. He exploded with rage. "Don't call me by that name." The heavenly demon calmly dodged every furious strike without fighting back. Meanwhile, the viewers watched in complete confusion. Nobody understood why the mysterious Grandmaster had suddenly become so emotional. Finally, the masked warrior made a decision. If this person insisted on claiming the title of Heavenly Demon, then there was no reason to continue hiding. "I am one of the survivors of the Heavenly Demon cult. More precisely, I served as the heavenly strategist of the Sun Moon Divine cult." Then the legendary name echoed across the battlefield. Dam Wol Rin. The livestream instantly descended into absolute chaos. The chat exploded. People couldn't believe what they had just heard. Dongpo Rin wasn't just another martial artist. She was one of the greatest strategists in the history of the Heavenly Demon cult. The brilliant mind who had stood beside the Heavenly Demon himself. Some newer viewers wondered whether a strategist could even fight. Veteran martial artists immediately shut that idea down. Dongpo Rin had been powerful enough to overwhelm most sect leaders. She was a genuine legend. Despite revealing her identity, Dongpo Rin still couldn't bring herself to kill the young streamer. She warned the Heavenly Demon one final time. Give up the title, change the username, walk away. Then everything would end peacefully, even inside virtual reality. She didn't want innocent blood on her hands, but the emotions she'd suppressed for over 10 years were finally spiraling out of control. Her inner demon began consuming her mind. A violent surge of energy erupted from her body. The duel resumed. She charged forward like a streak of lightning. The Heavenly Demon effortlessly stepped aside. Then, instead of attacking, he gently flicked her forehead. The motion looked less like combat, and more like an older sibling scolding someone who had made a mistake. The world faded into another memory. Years earlier, a lonely chillbok sat beneath the moon quietly drinking. Believing death was inevitable because of the weakness of her body, she had already given up on life. She mocked herself for being born with poor talent. Weak, low-born, unable to properly learn martial arts, she begged the Heavenly Demon to simply leave her alone. If she wanted to waste away drinking, then so be it. For a long moment, the Heavenly Demon said nothing. Then he finally spoke. Watch carefully. Before her eyes, he demonstrated an elegant martial arts technique, unlike anything she had ever seen. Every movement was simple, natural, beautiful. It wasn't designed for talented prodigies. It was created specifically for someone with a weak body and poor comprehension. When the demonstration ended, the Heavenly Demon smiled. This is my gift. Then he made another declaration. I will become the cult leader. Chillbok stared at him in disbelief. She insisted the only thing she was good at was using little tricks and clever schemes. The Heavenly Demon simply laughed. So what? I like you. That alone is enough. Those words completely changed her life. For the first time, someone accepted her exactly as she was. She chose to follow him without hesitation. Legends later recorded how the heavenly strategist Dongpo Rin watched as the future Heavenly Demon stood beneath the moon. As clouds covered the night sky, thunder answered his silent command before the heavens themselves cleared, allowing moonlight to shine across the mountains once again. On that night, the future of the Heavenly Demon cult truly began. The memory faded. Back in the present, cracks spread across Dongpo Rin's mask before it finally shattered into pieces. Beneath it was the face of a woman crying uncontrollably. Years of pain, years of guilt, years of searching. All disappeared in an instant. Tears streamed down her face as she fell to her knees. Cult leader. No, boss, is it really you? The Heavenly Demon quietly stood before his most loyal strategist with his hands behind his back. A faint smile finally appeared on his face. Yes, it has been a long time, Chillbok. Beneath the quiet moonlight, master and disciple sat together, sharing everything that had happened since the day the great cataclysm tore their world apart. The Heavenly Demon looked at his old strategist and smiled. You've gotten old, Chillbok. Dongpo Rin couldn't help laughing through the tears. And you've become young again, boss. She immediately noticed the obvious. You underwent rejuvenation. The Heavenly Demon casually nodded. More or less. Dongpo Rin shook her head with a helpless smile. Rejuvenation wasn't something that simply happened. Only her boss could describe one of the greatest achievements in martial arts so casually. Looking at the youthful face before her, memories from the past came flooding back. The third young master of the Heavenly Demon cult. A boy who had been looked down upon because he lacked the support of a powerful maternal family. At the age of 20, he defeated every rival and claimed the position of cult leader. By 30, he became only the second person in history to earn the title of Grand Heavenly Demon. By 40, he stood at the absolute peak of the martial world, forcing every major sect to bow before him. The strongest Heavenly Demon in history. Then, during the Great Cataclysm, he vanished without a trace. And now, after more than 10 years, that same legendary ruler had returned as a beautiful young streamer. Even Dongpo Rin struggled to process the absurdity of it all. Unable to contain her curiosity, she begged him to explain everything. The heavenly demon recounted the entire story. He spoke about the mysterious black rift that had swallowed him, the isolated island where he had survived alone for a decade, the endless battles against demonic beasts, the unbearable loneliness, and the strange broadcasting room that eventually led him to quit. He even admitted the embarrassing truth. The only reason he had transformed into a beautiful young woman was because pretty streamers attracted more viewers. Murim stared at him in disbelief. He had endured 10 years alone inside what was most likely the demon realm, then somehow solved the problem by becoming a virtual idol. Only her boss could come up with something that ridiculous. The heavenly demon quietly admitted that surviving there had not been easy for someone who had once conquered the entire martial world. Those words carried tremendous weight. Murim couldn't even begin imagining the hardships he must have endured. After a moment of silence, she finally spoke about herself. She revealed that although she had been born a woman, she had been raised as a man from childhood because of her overwhelming yin constitution. Following the advice of a fraudulent physician, her family believed living as a man would balance her body. The heavenly demon simply listened. Then, Murim smiled. No matter how much time had passed, nothing had truly changed. Whether she appeared as an old man or he appeared as a young woman, none of it mattered. She respectfully bowed. I, Murim, will continue serving you as my cult leader. The heavenly demon chuckled. You fool. Thank you. Only then did Murim suddenly remember something important. Boss, weren't we live streaming? The heavenly demon calmly explained that he had already ended the broadcast. When? The moment your inner demon started acting up. He couldn't allow his precious Dongpo pork squad to see her in such a miserable state. Murim blinked. The Dongpo pork squad. The heavenly demon waved the concern away. He would simply tell everyone the stream had disconnected unexpectedly. They would forgive him. Meanwhile, thousands of confused viewers wondered why yesterday's broadcast had suddenly disappeared without warning. With that matter settled, the heavenly demon finally asked the question that had weighed on his heart ever since returning. What happened during the Great Cataclysm? Murim's expression darkened. The heavenly demon cult hadn't simply been attacked. They had fallen directly into the heart of the demonic beast invasion. The monsters poured across the central plains, slaughtering everyone in their path. The cult was destroyed completely. The heavenly demon silently lowered his gaze. What about the others? The right messenger. The 4 heavenly kings. Murim slowly shook her head. As far as she knew, nobody else had survived. For years she had searched every forum and every corner of the internet, constantly talking about the heavenly demon in the hope that another survivor would recognize the stories. Nobody ever replied. She had believed herself to be the final survivor of the heavenly demon cult. The heavenly demon quietly watched her. Only now did he realize that all those obsessive posts praising him had never been the actions of a fanatic. They had been desperate signals, a lonely survivor searching for family. After thinking for a moment, the heavenly demon spoke. The heavenly demon cult, the sun-moon divine cult. They may both be gone, but today, they will be reborn. Murim looked up in surprise. There are only 2 of us left. The heavenly demon smiled confidently. So what? Am I not the heavenly demon himself? We'll simply begin again from the very beginning. Stepping onto the rooftop beneath the moonlight, he gazed toward the endless night sky during the darkest years of his life. Only the moon had remained by his side. Because of that, he had already chosen a new name. From this day onward, our new sect shall be known as the Moonlight Divine Cult. Murim's eyes filled with tears. She immediately knelt. Long live the heavenly demon. Elsewhere, another story was unfolding. Inside a forest, a swordsman named Diok challenged his own guildmaster in hopes of becoming stronger. The duel ended almost instantly. With a single swing of his blue blade, the guildmaster severed his opponent's arm before dismissing him as an embarrassment to the organization. The defeated swordsman couldn't understand why he still couldn't surpass his leader. Before he had time to recover, another subordinate rushed over carrying urgent news. Every member of the assassination squad who had challenged the mysterious streamer had lost. Even Pang Diok Jo had been defeated. The guildmaster frowned. He had originally dismissed the streamer as another attention seeker using the Heavenly Demon's name. Now, he realized that title might carry real meaning. Calmly, he announced that he would personally deal with the problem. The following day, the Heavenly Demon started another livestream. This time, viewers were immediately greeted by a familiar face. Standing beside the streamer was Dam Wolrin herself. The new moderator proudly introduced herself before warning the chat that anyone causing trouble would be removed without hesitation. The viewers were completely stunned. Yesterday's mysterious Grand Master was now serving as the channel moderator. Questions flooded the chat. Why had yesterday's stream suddenly ended? How had these two become acquaintances overnight? The Heavenly Demon calmly explained that Dam Wolrin was an old friend. The chat immediately exploded. An old friend. The legendary Heavenly Strategist. Dam Wolrin quickly interrupted. It's the Heavenly Demon cult, not the demonic cult. The correction only confused everyone even more. Scout Lund 13 nervously admitted the new moderator was terrifying. The Heavenly Demon quietly smiled. Things had become wonderfully chaotic. Then, something happened that left the entire chat speechless. Dam Wolrin responded to the streamer with a single respectful word. Boss. The viewers froze. A legendary grandmaster, one of the greatest strategists in martial arts history, had just called this cute streamer boss. Wild theories instantly appeared. Maybe she was secretly the Heavenly Demon's daughter. Maybe she was his reincarnation. Nobody had the slightest idea. Meanwhile, the Heavenly Demon noticed his channel statistics. The audience had grown dramatically overnight. Whether it was yesterday's viral duel or Dam Wolrin's appearance, the channel was gaining momentum faster than ever. Seeing the opportunity, he slammed his hand onto the desk. I have an announcement. The chat immediately focused. The Heavenly Demon raised 3 fingers. My first goal. I will become the #1 streamer on Twitch. The viewers burst into laughter. That meant surpassing the platform's biggest creator with nearly 100 million followers. An impossible dream. Without reacting to their laughter, he continued. My second goal. I will stand at the absolute peak of Real Fight 99. Once again, the chat treated it like a joke. The strongest players in the game were considered living legends. To them, the streamer sounded like an overly ambitious rookie. But Dam Wolrin remained perfectly calm. She had seen this before, years ago. People laughed when the Heavenly Demon declared he would become cult leader. They laughed again when he claimed he would conquer the martial world. Every single one of them eventually fell silent. The Heavenly Demon looked directly into the camera. I never make empty promises. I prove everything through my actions. When the time comes, you'll understand. Then he revealed his final goal. I will restore the Heavenly Demon cult to its former glory. The laughter instantly disappeared. Even the members of the assassination squad watching the stream from afar fell silent. None of them realized. The founder of that legendary cult had just announced its return to the entire world. The Heavenly Demon proudly announced that the cult had officially been re-established under a new name, the Moonlight Divine Cult. Since he would still be leading it himself, there was nothing for anyone to worry about. A recruitment link immediately appeared in the livestream chat. Some viewers laughed, thinking it was just another role-playing gimmick, while others seriously considered joining simply because Heavenly Demon-chan was the leader. She then revealed a fourth goal. Besides becoming the #1 streamer, reaching the highest rank in Real Fight, and rebuilding the cult, he also intended to find a way to escape the Cursed Island where he had been trapped for the last 10 years. The chat quickly turned into a proper discussion, and she asked Dam Wolrin if she was paying attention. She confirmed that she was, while a few viewers made jokes about her name. Without hesitation, she muted them for 60 seconds. The Heavenly Demon instructed Dam Wolrin to research every possible way to achieve their goals before the next stream. She eagerly accepted the task and promised to prepare an excellent presentation. He then asked the Dongpo Pork Gang for ideas. Viewers suggested everything from playing horror games to collecting rare elixirs and raising a demonic beast. Dam Wolrin redirected everyone to the cult message board and posted another invitation link. The chat debated whether it was a suspicious cult or simply a fan club. The Heavenly Demon casually explained that it was basically a fan community before asking Scout 13 to continue moderating the chat while Dam Wolrin focused on her research. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Dusik confronted Pang Deok-jo. Is it true? Did that brat really destroy you? Pang Deok-jo tried to deny it, but one of his own subordinates accidentally exposed the truth, earning himself an immediate scolding. Dusik ignored the excuses and demanded a direct answer. Left with no choice, Pang admitted that he had lost. Dusik immediately declared that he would personally deal with Heavenly Demon Chan before turning to leave. Pang hurriedly stopped him and asked if he really intended to challenge her immediately. "What if I do?" Dusik replied. Even so, Pang had a bad feeling. Dusik was already a first-rate martial artist, standing on the verge of reaching the peak realm. But after seeing Heavenly Demon Chan's strength, he refused to take any chances. Since she had only recently reached silver rank, she might reject a direct challenge from someone much stronger. Pang explained the enormous gap between silver and platinum before revealing that he had already been demoted to silver after losing to her. One of the underlings immediately understood the plan. Pang would invite Heavenly Demon Chan into a private lobby, and once she entered, Dusik would challenge her instead. Everyone praised the idea, while Pang confidently declared that an inexperienced newcomer like Heavenly Demon Chan would never suspect a trap. Dusik agreed. If they couldn't even get her into a match, nothing else mattered. Pang promised to prepare everything by creating the lobby and filling the spectator slots with members of the assassination squad. When he proudly claimed this was simply smart strategy, one of his subordinates quietly corrected his wording, only to be told to keep his mouth shut. Dusik simply shrugged and left to get some fresh air, telling everyone else to handle the preparations. Pang proudly declared that nobody needed to worry because underhanded tricks were his specialty. The scene then returned to the Heavenly Demon, who had already started another live stream. A system notification finally appeared, announcing that yesterday's match results had finished being calculated. Since the battle against Murim involved an enormous difference in rank, the verification process had taken much longer than normal. The system confirmed that the match had been legitimate before calculating the final score. The Heavenly Demon had officially advanced from silver to gold. The live stream exploded with excitement. Viewers couldn't believe someone had climbed an entire rank so quickly. Some guessed it was because he had defeated Murim off-stream, while others accused him of match-fixing and threatened to report him. Scout 13 immediately defended him, reminding everyone that Quich's anti-cheat system had already verified the match. If there had been any cheating, the promotion would never have been approved. Even so, many viewers still couldn't believe that a Grandmaster had actually been defeated. The Heavenly Demon then asked Murim what had happened to her own rank. She sadly admitted that she had been demoted 2 entire tiers and was now diamond rank. Feeling guilty, he apologized, but she simply laughed and explained that 2 ranks was the maximum penalty anyway. She would climb back up soon enough. Just then, another challenge invitation appeared. Siege Creed Gum Destroyer, quote, wanted another match. The Heavenly Demon glanced at the notification before scoffing. A mere silver dares interrupt me while I'm speaking. Without another thought, he rejected the invitation. The viewers immediately recognized the challenger as Pang Deok-jo and burst into laughter, calling him a silver scrub after his recent demotion. Watching the stream from the other side, Pang Deok-jo completely lost his temper. He shouted that his real rank was gold and that he could easily climb back whenever he wanted. Before he could calm down, the Heavenly Demon was already displayed as gold rank, leaving Pang unable to understand how someone could rank up so quickly. One of his subordinates mentioned that people online believed Heavenly Demon Chan had defeated a Grandmaster immediately after beating Pang. Realizing his original plan had failed, another underling suggested a new strategy. Since Heavenly Demon Chan wanted to reach the very top, there was no reason for him to waste time fighting weaker players. Instead, they should tempt him with a platinum-ranked opponent. Pang immediately agreed. A private whisper appeared. "There's a platinum player here. Accept the invitation." The Heavenly Demon's eyes immediately lit up. Platinum. Without any hesitation, he accepted the invitation and entered the lobby. The moment he arrived, he confidently declared, "Platinum. Show yourself. Become my points." Instead, he found only Pang Deok-jo and a group of familiar faces waiting for him. Looking around, he calmly asked, "Silver Scrub of the Pang family, where is this platinum player? Why are there only low-ranked ruffians standing here?" Peng forced himself to remain calm and claimed the others were simply there to watch the match. Before meeting their boss, however, he wanted to settle the score from their previous duel. He admitted that he had underestimated Heavenly Demon Chan because he lacked information, and now he wanted a proper rematch to restore his honor. Privately, however, Peng already knew he couldn't win fairly. His real plan was much simpler. He secretly sent Heavenly Demon Chan a whisper. "I'm the second in command of the assassination squad. Please let me save some face." Without thinking twice, the Heavenly Demon told the entire livestream exactly what the message said. The viewers burst into laughter. Instead of threatening him, the feared vice leader had actually begged his opponent to throw the match. The Heavenly Demon admitted that he understood Peng's situation as a fellow martial artist. He promised he would never intentionally lose, but he was willing to exchange a few blows first out of respect for Peng's pride. The chat praised his kindness. The system then announced the start of the battle. Peng counted down. 3, 2, 1. The instant the match began, every hidden member of the assassination squad opened fire at the same time. It had been an ambush from the very beginning. Just as bullets filled the battlefield, another system announcement echoed throughout the arena. Benedict Military Placement has sponsored a special mission. Win the battle within 1 minute. Reward: 100,000 cookies. Peng froze in complete shock. Meanwhile, the Heavenly Demon's eyes sparkled. 100,000 cookies. Forget showing mercy. Forget respecting Peng's pride. With a single devastating punch, he blasted every member of the assassination squad into the air at once, completely destroying their carefully prepared ambush in an instant. The viewers couldn't stop talking after witnessing Peng Deok-jo and his entire squad get wiped out by a single punch. One viewer joked that this was exactly the kind of content they had been waiting for, while another casually ordered a glass of iced tea as the chat exploded with laughter. Everyone was amazed that the assassination squad had tried to gang up on Heavenly Demon Chan, only to be completely annihilated instead. The chat flooded with praise, calling her incredible and unbelievably cool. Meanwhile, Peng Deok-jo could only stare in disbelief at how effortlessly she had defeated all of his men. Ignoring his frustration, she coldly asked him one question. "So, where is your boss?" Terrified, Peng Deok-jo called her a monster and promised that if she defeated him, he would personally take her to his leader. She simply waved him forward. "Fine, come at me." As he charged, Peng Deok-jo couldn't help but think that her strength was at least equal to his boss's, perhaps even greater. He swung his blade with everything he had, shouting that he would cut off one of her arms before she ever got to meet his leader. No miracle happened. Within moments, Peng Deok-jo was beaten so badly that he couldn't even lift his head. All he could do was beg her to stop. For someone who talked so confidently before the fight, his defeat was embarrassingly one-sided. The system announced the end of the match. Winner, Heavenly Demon Chan. She calmly told him to keep talking if he wanted to see what happened next. She repeated her question one final time. "Where is your boss?" Tearfully, Peng Deok-jo admitted that if she simply walked through the main gate ahead, she would find him waiting inside. The livestream chat mocked him relentlessly, saying that if he had stayed silent, he could have at least preserved a little dignity. Instead, he had surrendered immediately. Without another word, Chi walked through the gate. Inside, Dusik was practicing his swordsmanship with complete focus. The moment Chi saw the sword in his hands, something felt familiar. She immediately recognized it. The Infinite Sky Sword. Memories surfaced in her mind of a famous sword art known as the Azure Sky Sword technique, a style as free as the open heavens that erased the boundary between offense and defense. It flowed as gracefully as an autumn breeze. Then she quietly added, "However, you're still far from mastering that sky." Dusik finally noticed her presence, Heavenly Demon Chan. Chi nodded. That's right. Seeing her in person, Dusik couldn't hide his surprise. She looked much smaller and cuter than he had imagined. Introducing himself as Nam Dusik, leader of the assassination squad and bearer of the title Blood Flower Sword, he immediately brought up the fact that she had beaten all of his subordinates. She casually replied that she had simply accepted their enthusiastic welcome. Dusik blinked. What welcome? Meanwhile, the viewers finally realized the truth. Dusik had absolutely no idea what his subordinates had done behind his back. They immediately suspected that the Benedict-sponsored mission had been arranged without his knowledge. Chi quickly realized the same thing. Doesn't matter. Are you ready to get beaten? Dusik drew his sword and immediately sent her a duel request. The system announced, "One beaten, platinum rank, has challenged you. Accept." She accepted. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1, fight. Yet neither of them moved. The chat became completely confused. Some viewers joked that they were having a staring contest. Others claimed true masters fought with nothing but their eyes. At that moment, a viewer named Harusari donated 1,000 cookies and asked if the leader of the assassination squad was really that powerful. Other viewers explained that, although many people had never heard of the assassination squad itself, almost everyone in the martial arts world knew the title Bloodflower Sword. Someone guessed he was simply famous within martial arts circles, while another joked that the martial arts world must be running out of talented fighters. Others pointed out that Dusik was an extremely rare late-stage first-rate martial artist. Even Heavenly Demon Chan might struggle against him. Dusik slowly exhaled. His hand trembled around the hilt of his sword. Inside his mind, only one thought remained. I'm going to die. He knew that the instant he drew his sword, he would die. He realized that the small girl standing before him was an unprecedented genius who had already shattered the wall of the Peak Realm despite her young appearance. Until today, he had believed only his own boss could be called a monster. Now he understood how wrong he had been. Even hearing that she defeated all of his subordinates with a single strike hadn't prepared him for this overwhelming pressure. The terrifying purple demonic aura surrounding her completely surpassed even his own father's. Outside the arena, spectators could clearly see the enormous purple aura radiating from Chi. The live stream chat had no idea what was happening. What's wrong with him? Did he suddenly need to use the bathroom? Why does everyone become weird whenever they fight Heavenly Demon Chan? Someone even recalled how Damwol Rin had panicked and stumbled around during their previous duel before getting muted by the moderator. Ignoring the comments, Chi calmly spoke. Come, attack me with your strongest technique. Dusik forced himself to move. Using his sword-drawing skill, he unleashed 1/Blue Wind. Chi raised an eyebrow. Blue Wind, aren't you a swordsman of the Namgung clan? She casually raised one hand and countered using the 12 iron sword forms. I told you to use your strongest move. Dusik's eyes widened in disbelief. Did she really just perform the infinite sky sword with nothing but the palm of her hand? He swung his sword again and again, but no matter how many times he attacked, the invisible wall before him never moved. Frustration overwhelmed him. What am I missing? Chi answered calmly. Keep swinging. It's already inside you. Those simple words struck directly at Dusik's heart. For years he had searched for enlightenment, believing it existed somewhere beyond his reach. Now he suddenly believed he had found the answer. Perhaps true enlightenment had been within him all along. With renewed confidence, he prepared the ultimate form of the infinite sky sword. I can finally break through. He charged forward with infinite sky across 10,000 miles, creating a massive white explosion. Then, he froze. His ultimate technique had become nothing more than an ordinary slash. Enraged, he shouted, "You said it was already inside me." Chi looked at him with a completely straight face. I lied. There was never anything there. Dusik could barely believe what he had heard. Before he could even finish cursing, Chi drove a palm strike directly into his stomach. The impact launched him across the battlefield and triggered a massive explosion. Looking down at him, she smirked. Trusting your enemy in the middle of a fight. That was foolish. The system declared the winner. Heavenly Demon Chan wins. The chat erupted into celebration. Donations poured in from every direction. Viewers praised not only her overwhelming strength, but also her psychological warfare. Some donated 10,000 cookies while chanting her name, and another large donation arrived to promote her even further. Putting on an adorable expression, she cheerfully thanked everyone. Just then, another notification appeared. Mission complete. The Benedict military unit rewarded her with 100,000 cookies. Chi happily thanked them and promised to spend the reward wisely. The chat immediately joked that she was probably going to buy more Dongpo pork. To thank the sponsor, she even performed a brand new cute expression for the viewers, shyly swaying her hands while trying to act adorable. The audience completely lost it. Even though she usually acted like a cold martial arts master, everyone knew there was one weakness she could never hide. She absolutely loved cookies. Just then, another notification appeared. New email received. Sender, Quitch Corporation. She looked surprised. An email. Open it. The viewers became curious. What's going on? She explained that the email had come directly from Quitch itself. Everyone waited as she read its contents. Moments later, even the chat fell silent. Quitch had personally sent Heavenly Demon Chan an official partnership offer. A massive corporation had reached out to a brand new streamer first, leaving everyone watching the live stream completely stunned. The Heavenly Demon selected Open, and the message immediately appeared on the screen. Dam Wol Rin asked, "Cult leader, did something happen?" "It seems I have received an email from Quitch," the Heavenly Demon replied. Scout 13 immediately became curious. An email directly from Quitch. What does it say? They are offering this seat a partnership. The entire chat fell silent. A partnership. The viewers couldn't believe what they had just heard. Quitch almost never contacted streamers directly, especially someone who had only been streaming for a week. She really is a monster rookie. One of the Heavenly Demon's disciples became furious. How dare they interrupt your broadcast, cult leader? Shall I destroy them? The Heavenly Demon calmly shook his head. Calm yourself. Let us first read what they have to say. The viewers also wanted to hear the contents of the email. The Heavenly Demon began reading. Dear Heavenly Demon, this is Quitch Corporation. We would like to offer you a partnership. He continued reading the list of benefits: subscription support, custom badges, stable revenue, VOD ad revenue, better payout rates, lower platform fees, KTube multi-channel support. The chat was amazed. Normally, Quitch only offered partnerships after at least 1 month of streaming, but they had made a special exception because of Heavenly Demon Chan's explosive growth. However, before finalizing everything, they still needed to verify a few details. The Heavenly Demon suddenly stopped reading. The viewers immediately protested. Wait, why did you stop? They dare to act so high and mighty while making a request. I dislike their tone. The chat burst into laughter. Someone joked that even Quitch wasn't safe from the Heavenly Demon's pride. The Heavenly Demon then asked, by the way, is Quitch always like this? I heard they are so mysterious that many conspiracy theories exist about them. The viewers laughed again. They're just ordinary people. Another viewer asked, are you going to accept the partnership? Someone else suggested, you should at least reply. The Heavenly Demon nodded. They are asking if I have a moment to chat. I shall send them a reply. He opened the reply window. Then, nothing happened. The viewers watched him stare at the keyboard. Seconds passed. Then even more seconds. Everyone became confused. Finally, the Heavenly Demon slowly typed a single greeting. The chat completely lost control. Did she seriously spend all that time just typing greetings? She's typing like she's performing acupuncture. Heavenly Demon, watching you type is more stressful than defusing a bomb. The Heavenly Demon frowned. Quiet. Wait a moment. After struggling with the keyboard for a little longer, he finally lost his patience. I shall end today's broadcast here. I will speak with them through a voice call instead. I shall tell you the rest next time. So wash your feet and go to sleep. The viewers couldn't stop laughing. Why is she getting angry at us just because she's bad at typing? The chat filled with goodbye messages as the live stream ended. Almost immediately afterward, a voice call connected. The representative from Quitch greeted him politely. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, Heavenly Demon. Likewise. Thank you for taking an interest in me. The representative continued. Did you have a chance to read through the partnership offer I sent earlier? I did. And what do you think about partnering with us? As I mentioned before, your case is truly exceptional. You are the first streamer in Quitch history to receive a partnership offer this quickly. The Heavenly Demon nodded. I am honored. I also view the proposal favorably. That is wonderful to hear. The representative sounded relieved. Before we finalize everything, however, there is one important question we must ask. What is it? Your situation is extremely unique. I would appreciate it if you answered honestly. I do not speak falsehoods. Excellent. Then let me ask, is the place where you are currently broadcasting, the demonic realm? Far away, inside the Murim Alliance headquarters, another story was unfolding. The Alliance leader, Kang Yun-jae, quietly looked over several reports on his computer. The numbers are even lower than before. I knew the younger generation was losing interest in martial arts, but I never expected it to become this severe. He sighed. I only hope our martial artists perform well during the upcoming Dragon and Phoenix Assembly. Originally, the Dragon and Phoenix Assembly had been a tournament created to discover promising young martial artists from every sect. Now, however, it had grown into a massive festival where competitors from every race and every profession gathered to compete. Most of the attention had shifted toward fantasy races and awakened hunters instead of traditional martial artists. Even so, Kang Yun-jae couldn't help feeling hopeful. This generation is different. It may truly become a golden generation. The next champion might actually come from the martial arts world. He smiled to himself. My title of Spear Dragon was earned after winning the Dragon and Phoenix Assembly in my youth. This tournament will decide the hero who leads the next era. Suddenly, the office door burst open. Alliance leader. The strategist hurried inside carrying a tablet. What is it? Why are you in such a hurry? You need to see this. He handed over the tablet. Kang Yun-jae pressed play. The video showed Heavenly Demon Chan's very first match. His eyes widened. Incredible. What did I just watch? That's not all. The strategist played another video, then another, and another. Every one of Heavenly Demon Chan's matches appeared on the screen. When the battle against Nam Do-sik began, Kang Yun-jae immediately recognized him. Wait, isn't that Nam Do-sik? The Bloodflower Sword. I'd been keeping an eye on him for quite some time. He may lead a strange organization called the Assassination Squad, but his swordsmanship is absolutely genuine. He isn't someone who could be defeated with simple tricks like catching bullets barehanded. The strategist smiled. So, do you still think those were just tricks? He pointed toward the screen. She is clearly a hidden dragon who has finally revealed herself. When the video showed Nam Do-sik's defeat, Kang Yun-jae couldn't hide his curiosity. Whose daughter is she? The strategist shook his head. No one knows. Her identity is completely hidden. What is her username? The strategist answered, her name is Heavenly Demon Chan. The moment Kang Yun-jae heard those words, his expression froze. Memories from long ago resurfaced. During the golden age of Murim, there had once been a man who stood at the absolute peak of martial arts, the Heavenly Demon. Even the former alliance leader had been split in half with a single strike after challenging him. After defeating him, the Heavenly Demon had simply said, "How boring." Then he looked toward a lone spearman standing among the crowd. You, the spearman over there, you seem to be the most decent among them. You shall become the next alliance leader. With those words, the great war between the Orthodox Alliance and the demonic cult had ended before it truly began. No, it never even had the chance to begin. Alliance leader. Are you all right? Are you all right? The strategist's voice pulled Kang Yun-jae back to reality. Why are you sweating so much? It's nothing, just a sudden stomachache. He paused before asking one more time. You said her name was Heavenly Demon Chan. Yes, to be exact, it's Heavenly Demon Chan. I see. You may return to your duties. As the strategist quietly left the room, he couldn't help thinking that the Alliance leader's constipation must have become much worse. Meanwhile, Kang Yun-jae remained seated in silence. With trembling hands, he searched for Heavenly Demon Chan's channel and began watching every one of her videos.